Okay, welcome back here to round 5 action. Now it's going to be with two good players here from Sweden. The first one is Christoffer Niemi, who has been playing his first Pro Tour in a couple of weeks ago in Washington, D.C. in the Modern. And we got the other one is
Niklas Ramquist.
Ramquist.
Also quite a strong player in this field.
Yeah, I believe Niklas Ramquist has a GP top 8. Unfortunately, I think it was before the system, the strange system, where like even the Grand Prix top 8s didn't like qualify people for the Pro Tour. That was the like a middle time where Wizards didn't really know what to do with the system. So I think he hasn't played in a Pro Tour, but he is a really good player.
Yeah. And like we said before, one of the favorites to top 8 this tournament before it's even started. So we have the deck list right here. We see Christoffer Niemi very impressively playing just 2 colors, I believe. Straight red-black. So he's got some of the very strong mono-red cards in the Pyrotechnics, Outpost Siege, as well as Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker and the Hoarding Outburst. And filling this out with some playable and fairly decent black cards such as Bitter Revelation, Belling Salad Brute. So the consistency of mana is something we're really looking forward to here.
So it's not a strange thing. These both players are actually 4-0. So Niklas Ramquist is actually playing. He's playing 3 colors. He's playing blue, red, and white. He's playing Jeskai. And he's playing like stable commons. He has a elite scale guard, almost like a good rare card.
Yeah,
it's
one of the premium uncommons of the Fate Reforged.
He has a Treasure Cruise, a Glacial Stalker. What else?
Channel Fireball fairly famously rated the rares, or rather the picks in the Fate Reforged pack in drafts, obviously, as whether or not you would take it above Elite Scale Guard, which is something of a benchmark. So that says a lot about an uncommon.
Yeah, that's a crazy card. He has a Mantis Rider. That's a nice card.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have a good mana base for it.
Yeah.
He has a Freet Weapon Master.
Yeah, solid morph, as well as a ride down. We can see a good removal spell. And like we mentioned earlier, it's lost a slight bit of edge with the entrance of Sandblast and Whisk Away into the format, because there are so many tricks and removal spells you can only play during the attacking blocker phase.
He also, I see here, he's got a Sage Eye Avengers, so that's a good card.
Absolutely. That's a card we saw Love placing in his deck during deck building. A very powerful mono blue 6-drop.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
Yeah. I'd say so. It's basically every attack it does just sets your opponent so far back in tempo.
So here's the starting game here between Christoffer Niemi and Niklas Ramquist.
Yeah, we seem to be resolving mulligans, I believe.
I think they're ready, and I think they have both mulliganed to 6. So both players on 6 cards.
So Niklas Ramquist seems to keep, and Christoffer Niemi is still thinking about it, I believe.
Yeah. Let's see what he does. So what do you think about this matchup?
I'm favoring Christoffer Niemi. I really respect the getting the power for the very consistent mana base. Some of the best cards in Niklas Ramquist's deck are still tricolored, and he has to hit that mana. And I believe that on a below average draw of a multi-6 perhaps, I believe Christoffer Niemi will definitely be favored.
So one interesting thing to notice here, which doesn't come up that often in bigger tournaments, it's 75 people here, but Niklas Ramquist, actually, Christoffer Niemi has actually registered the pool that Niklas is playing, so he can, maybe he can get some information if he's like recognizing a couple of cards, he can maybe figure that out that Niklas got his pool.
Yeah.
It's not coming up very often, and it's not a super relevant thing, but it might be a thing.
Yeah.
If you have a really good memory.
Yeah, especially, I'm not sure if we had any of the cards that are really spectacular to remember, such as Poya's Doom Blast, for instance, that you can really play around. Many cards in this format, knowing about them doesn't really change very much of how you're playing against what you're facing.
Okay. It seems like they are still waiting for us now. I don't know. The clock hasn't been starting yet.
Yeah, perhaps the official match clock hasn't started outside.
Yeah.
So
here we go.
Underway. So Niklas Ramquist on the play, just leading with an island. So how many non-basics is he playing?
He's playing 2 Windscarred Crags, and he's playing a Tranquil Cove. So he's playing 3 non-basic lands.
Yeah. So he's lacking red mana here. I'm not sure how big of a deal that is for him. I believe red is his splash color. I believe he's blue-white with a splash of red for some Jeskai cards and removal.
Yes. He's playing 18 lands.
Yeah. So here we see Hooded Assassin and a Morph from each of the players on turn 3. Hooded Assassin, a fairly mediocre card, slightly below par. And there's the third card.
It's a playable card.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, 2/3, a very key power and toughness in this format because it allows you to tussle with morphs very efficiently.
Yes. So here's a Abson War Priest. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Battle Priest.
Abson Battle Priest. The 3/2 that gives lifelink to all of your +1 creatures with +1/+1 counters.
So that's a really nice card.
Yes. I think it's quite a bit worse than the Falconer.
Yeah.
But that's only because of the base stats and the mana cost.
Yeah, agreed.
So here we see a Bellowing Saddle Brute, an impressive 4/5 on the board for Christoffer Niemi.
So what's his play now? It's the
Aven Surveyor. So a 2/2 that bounces a creature when it comes into play.
It's sort of a mana war with a flying.
Precisely. And mana wars have traditionally always been fantastic in limited.
Yes, and it's still the case here in Fate Reforged.
Yeah, and here we can really see. Compare this to Mistraven, which was not that very long ago, which was had the same stats for a whole mana cheaper.
Yeah.
And the same effect.
Yes.
Back in Avacyn Restored Limited.
Yes. So back now to Niklas. This is sort of like a tempo game now. In the mid game.
So, and we see Niemi missing his land drop there. Does he have any red mana?
No, he's just been mono black for the moment. So
yeah, so awkwardly enough, the person with the more solid 2-color mana base is
stumbling.
Yeah.
Yes.
So right into being here, comparable to a morph in power level. It gives you a 2/2 for 3 mana, which is morph stats, and also gives you some sort of selection.
Yeah, I really like that card.
Yeah. Incidentally, in this case, also triggering prowess on the Jeskai Sage, but it's not hugely relevant compared to the 4/5 on the other side.
Yeah, and since you can like choose between 2 cards, it's not that unlikely to find something good to flip up.
Precisely. Awkwardly enough, most of the blue creatures are slightly subpar for their mana cost. The good blue creatures are, for example, like the Aven Surveyor, where the manifesting them doesn't really gain you that much. But even then, it's still
a fine card.
Yeah, I believe it's at its best when you can trigger prowess, or in some sort of green black or Sultai build where you because you do add another card to the graveyard, so it also fuels delve.
Yeah, that's many good points. So now we have Niklas passing the turn to Christoffer. And Christoffer actually drew the mountain. He's sitting on the mountain right now. He
Yeah.
hasn't been playing it just yet. So what's he going to do? Is he going to attack? He's going to attack, seems, with both guys.
Yeah, we don't really have any great blocks for Niklas. We could triple block the 4/5 or
Yeah.
double block the 2/3, but in both cases, he only has a single blue mana that doesn't represent anything in this format. So I don't think he can afford to take the block, especially
Yeah.
if Niemi places land before combat to represent more tricks, such as Teamer Battle Rage, for instance.
So yeah, the battle priest is going to be a problem soon enough, I think.
Yeah.
Turning ahead of this race. He's just now Niklas just jumping to draw a card.
Yeah.
Figure he can't get much more value.
Is
out of
that
card.
Pyrotechnics? I think that was Pyrotechnics.
Yeah. Niklas has a pyrotechnics, and that was the card he drew. Can he do something insane about it, or can he just kill a creature?
I thought Christoffer had a Pyrotechnics.
Aha.
So here we see Ancestral Vengeance. Not a card you're hugely impressed to play, but usually that's mainly because of the double black in the mana cost. It's slightly worse than Debilitating Injury, but that's already one of the best commons in the format.
Yeah, I don't really. I think I like that card so much.
I don't think I don't think it's very good. But I think if you're so heavy black like Christoffer is, and your mana base can support it, you can definitely get some value out of it. Again, with the abundance of 2/1s in this format.
Yeah.
So he did hit something off his manifest, which was a Jeskai Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best card he could hit. That or perhaps the Mantis Rider.
That will probably bounce now. The Mardu 4/4, or will it?
So he
The
bounces the
Hooded
Hooded Assassin.
Yeah.
And knowing about it means that the Assassin will be significantly worse.
Yeah.
So that's a 4/3, right? So he could block the Warshrieker on the Falconer.
Yes.
Because it hasn't been outlasted. It was outlasted last turn, and he used 6 mana this turn to flip up the Avengers.
So he chose to bounce this Hooded Assassin because he thought it was a worse creature than the Mardu 3/3.
Yeah, the Warshrieker would enable him to do a double play again next turn with the small Mardu dark Ritual provided with the raid trigger.
Yes.
There's also an argument, once you can whittle down the board state, if you manage to bounce the Battling Shadowblute, the raid trigger on that means you lose 4 life if you can't attack.
Yes.
And forcing Christoffer to attack into your board when he's so far behind on life could be a very large disadvantage for him.
How do you like this attack with a Battle Priest?
I don't think I like it very much at all.
Because you're trading away a card which is going to be bigger and bigger if you're just holding it back.
Yeah.
Now you're trading with a 4/4 vanilla creature, basically.
Yeah, I don't think I like that block very much. It does mean that Christoffer will have very few chances to double block next turn, and keeping his board as small as possible means that the Jeskai Avengers will keep wreaking havoc. But that also means that you're kind of planning on Niemi not having a removal spell.
Yeah.
And I believe that's Pyrotechnics in his hand. It doesn't deal with the Jeskai Avengers, but it could deal with the other 2 creatures.
Yes. Do you think he will actually just Pyrotechnics and attack?
I don't think so. He's at 6 right now, and if the Bellowing Saddlebrute gets bounced next turn, he can't replay it because he would be at 2. So I think he's trying to find some sort of way to make sure he can double block the Jeskai Avengers next turn.
But the thing is, will it not be bounced this turn?
Right. So he needs a prowess trigger, right? Because it's not equal to, it's less than.
Yeah.
So if Niklas has a prowess trigger for the Jeskai Avengers, this game could be over very shortly.
Yeah, we did see a key play there, destroying or rather burning the Ifrit.
Yeah,
But now
yeah, that's game. So you Jeskai Rune Mark here.
for the win.
Yeah, for the win. Quite clearly the best of the Rune Mark cycle. The other 4 are quite mediocre, and I think you would be very unhappy playing them in your seal deck.
So it's getting enchanted creature get +2/+2 and flying.
As long as you control a white or red permanent.
Yes.
In this case, it didn't actually matter. He didn't give it flying because there were no other permanents in play. But it was still attack for lethal.
Yeah, flying one of the most relevant abilities on the marks.
Absolutely. And due to this kind of effect, there's a 4/2 with prowess and hexproof. I can't quite recall the name.
Yeah, from Concept
From Concept Arcade, which has gained a bit of value from with the introduction of Fatal Forge into the packs.
So welcome back to the booth here. We I think we'll just see some deck list here and
briefly go over the sideboard options.
Yes.
Obviously, Christoffer Niemi's sideboard options are far. Well, they aren't really that large.
Yeah.
Seeing as he's already just 2 colors, the options available to him is probably not as significant as they are for Niklas.
Yeah. Let's see what Niklas has in his sideboard. He has a pressure point in his sideboard, not playing. Sage's Reverie. Not so much to get in here. Let's see.
Yeah, so the only basically playable card I can see from there's the Fearsome Awakening that Christoffer Niemi is not playing out of his red and black cards, and the Gurmag Swiftwing, the 1/2 flying haste first strike, which is not really what you want to be doing.
No.
I'm interested by his choice not to play the Valley Dasher. Valley Dasher, not a spectacular card by any means, but in a deck like his, which is aiming to go fairly aggressive, where he's playing cards like Active Treason, for instance, it usually does trade for gets in for 2 or 4 damage and then trades for morph.
Yeah, and here we're back to game 2 now,
yeah.
And Christoffer Niemi is playing the
Karsi
O2?
Hide Priest. Yeah, it's an O2, and you can sacrifice other creatures for 2 mana, I believe, to manifest the card of your library. So quite a good card against. Okay.
We actually see the O2 attacking here.
Yeah.
To trigger the raid trigger and to get Niklas discard a card here.
Yeah, a play we've seen more often with the Zoned Ancestor in cons, but the O2 attacks just as well. It does not have a defender.
So what do you think about the O2? Is it a playable card? Is it good? Or
I think it's not. So natural turn 3 Mantis Rider. That's gonna be a problem, especially Christoffer missing out on his red mana again.
Yeah, that's like a pretty bad thing to do.
Yeah.
The stable 2-color deck.
Yeah.
2 games in a row stumbled a little bit on red mana.
Yeah. So
but he's playing 7 mountains and 9 swamps.
Yeah, and as well as a Bloodfell Caves. So he has 8 and 10 sources of the colors respectively.
Yeah, and now another Ancestral Vengeance here.
And this is obviously not where you want to be when you're using it to not kill a creature and barely upgrade your own.
Yeah, it's nice to get 2 toughness on the Mardu guy because you can
get through the Sage.
Yeah, but it's not enough here. Here's the red mana.
Yeah, tapped unfortunately.
Yes.
So we see Fearsome Awakening, I believe.
Yeah.
And
is it?
I think it's a Bitter Revelation, and then something else I can't quite make out.
I think it's the 4/5.
Saddle Brute.
Yeah.
That could be a Crux of Foreseeing.
Yeah.
That's a card he has in his pool, and it's
also in his deck, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crux of Fate.
Yeah, he might have drawn it. I don't think he would have played the same way. Perhaps if he doesn't. I don't think he has enough land drops. Perhaps, so he wanted to just make sure. But he could get quite a few cards out of it, right here.
Yeah, the problem is it's a bit of a hurry now.
Yeah, absolutely. And even then, he's still not that far ahead in cards. The Jeskai Sage will get will draw Niklas a card, and Niemi has already placed 3 cards on the battlefield. So even with the Crux of Fate here, that would be, well, stem the bleeding and stabilize him. But in terms of card advantage, he would not be that far ahead.
So, Christoffer, is he just going to play a creature, or is just going to pass the turn, believing he will draw the 5th land he needs for the Crux?
I'm not sure if he had a Bitter Revelation in his hand. Yeah, there we go. So he plays the Bitter Revelation to make sure that he finds the 5th land drop. But also drops down to 7 here, so he'll take 2, 5, 6. Isn't that lethal? No, he can block. So he can chump block this turn.
Yeah, he can chump block, but he has the Cunning Strike.
Right,
Niklas is showing him the Cunning Strike and saving some time here, and he's going to 5-0, Niklas Ramquist. And that was kind of a quick game here.
Yeah.
So we're back here to the booth.
Yeah.
Maybe we can try to find another game here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Just maybe. We can think about it.
Yes.
Here, if we have something back
Yeah.
at the tournament area.
So about the game, awkwardly enough, like we said, Christoffer Niemi with the so-called stable mana base, missing out on his red mana both games.
Yes.
Which is very unfortunate when you're playing cards like Sarkhan and Hoarding Outburst, which double colored is quite a large commitment in this format compared to what it can be in other formats.
Yes. So, yeah, that was like a lopsided game, sort of. The first game was a little bit closer, but still it was in Niklas' favor, all of it, probably.
Yeah, so I'm kind of intrigued by the inclusion of the Karsi High Priest in his deck. I think Karsi High Priest is much better of a sideboard card than it is. I mean, we've already said many times during this tournament how you can play around a lot of cards that are only usable during combat, such as Sandblast, Killshot, and Whisk Away, and the like. And being able to predict when those cards are coming and keep up mana to manifest your guys can be absolutely devastating for a control deck.
Yes. So unfortunately we don't have a backup match here because it's not that much time left on this round, and so I think we'll just take a pause from here, and we'll be seeing you on round number 6.
Absolutely.